Hello friends, the weekend's here, which means it's time to start working on this amp chassis, and I want to just show you a couple of things before I start digging in. So first thing is I'm going to start using a tripod on this video series. I'm just tired of all the bouncing and the unstableness, so I'm going to try to do that and we'll see how this works. So let's get right to it. As you see on the bench there, I've got the chassis, and we're going to sit down here. And what you'll see right away is, of course, I still haven't put anything in the chassis. So I still have these holes empty. I haven't really mounted anything. The only thing I did mount is the pilot light jewel. So I've got that in here. And you'll see inside here I have a new socket and a new bulb holder. So that's been installed. I do have my tube sockets, and they're right here. And you'll see that they're all brand new and the pins are nice and clean. And what I did on each one, as you can see, is I put a red mark by pin number 1. So when I put them in, I know exactly where that is, and I'm going to make sure I align them correctly inside the chassis. I also have, I have a bag of my components that I'm going to need. So I've got all my electrolytic capacitors, I've got my other capacitors. So I've got everything that I'm going to need to build the circuit in one place, so when I'm ready to build it I can do that. Next step for me is going to be to take this board, and this is the turret board that I'm going to be wiring everything up with. And what I have here is essentially the turret board and the insulator board underneath, okay? And I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the camera, but I have a marking right here and I have a marking right here. And what I'm going to do is drill holes in the board in those locations right there, and then what I'll do is take the bottom board and transfer that to the bottom of the chassis here. All right, and I'll drill holes, and once I have those holes drilled, I'll be able to use these standoffs to mount the board above. And you'll see that these standoffs look like they're about 1/2 inch. So I may use something a little bit longer. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to mount that up. But before we do that, I have to get these tube sockets installed. So we're going to do that. I also made a decision on this amp that I'm going to use these handles, okay? And what I'm going to do with these handles is I'm going to mount them right here on each side of the chassis, right here and right here, because this thing is going to be relatively heavy when it's completed, and it's going to have the metal frame on it here. So I want to be able to have something that I can lift up. So I'm going to mount these two plastic handles as well, and we'll do that much later on. But that's something we're going to be doing. And then lastly, I'm just waiting for screws to come in. I want to use these are number 6 screws here, and I only have number 8 screws. So waiting for those to come in. I'll be here today, and then I'll have the proper screws to start mounting everything. So that's the plan this weekend. So when I get my parts in today, I'll start to do some of this work, and then I'll come back on this video and give you the update. All right. Hopefully you're enjoying the tripod thing. It works well for me too. I don't have to hold the camera. Anyway, see you in a bit. Okay, I'm going to start putting in the tube sockets, but I want to show you a little trick here. So because I painted this chassis, I want to make sure that the holes that I'm going to connect the sockets to the chassis have a good ground connection. So basically I'm taking this rat tail file, and I'm just going to go like this in each hole. Just make sure there's no paint in there. Go like that. I'm going to clean those up. Make sure that the paint doesn't obstruct the connection. And then of course I'll take one of my tube sockets here, and what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to make sure that I put all the pin 1s in the same direction. And there's pin 1 right there with the red mark, and I'm going to have all the pin 1s facing inward. Okay? And you'll notice on this one the paint's a little tight. So I'm just going to give this a nice little clean out on the inside like this. There we go. Now I'll put the screw in, and I'll be in good shape. So I'm going to go do the rest of these, and I'll come back to you when that's done. Thank you. One thing I also wanted to show you is on the rectifier tubes. On the rectifier tubes specifically, and the output tubes, I'm going to use these tube clips. And you'll see on this one socket that I've just installed, I've got this tube clip put in here nicely. Of course, I got my tube mounted on the bottom. My tube socket, I should say. So I'm going to use these clips on these three, which are my my rectifier tube and my two output tubes. All right, so I'm going to get busy putting those in. I'll be back. Okay, folks, I've got all the tube sockets in. So you'll see I've got my my rectifier tube here with the clip. I've got my two 6v6s here. Okay. And then I've got my preamp tubes, and they're going to be right here. Of course, those are furthest away from the transformer, right? So that's the way this is laid out. You'll take a look on the inside, and you'll notice that I've got everything neatly tucked in. I am going to have to bend these pins back a little bit. That's what they tell you to do, so that I can make some really good connections. So I'll just take a duckbill plier, very much like this one here. And I'll just take this little pin and just go back just a little bit, and I'll do that and spread them out like a crown. This way when I make the solder connections, there's definitely no chance of them touching. So my next step is going to be to take the turret board that I showed you earlier, which is right here, if you remember this, and I'm going to drill my holes in the turret board here, and then I'm going to remove this bottom insulated board, and I'm going to either match up the holes that are in the bottom of the chassis, or I'm going to drill new holes to mount this board inside. But I'm not going to leave it mounted once I do that. Of course, I'm going to do all the component work outside the chassis. It's just much easier, so I can put all these components in place outside the chassis. And then when I install it, it'll be much easier. I just have wires that I need to run, and I can dry fit it. So that's the plan for now. I think I'm going to end this video at this point because tomorrow I'm going to be doing a little bit of wiring and that type of thing. I do have a gig tomorrow night, so I'll be gone most of the afternoon, and I'll probably be working on this more Sunday. So that's why I wanted to get this out there now. So in summary, when you paint the chassis like this, like I did, make sure that you use a file, clean out the holes, clean out the screw holes, and making sure all your ground points are good. But right now I've got some brand new tube sockets. I've got a brand new pilot light holder here, and a brand new jewel on the front, right there. And this thing is coming along nicely. Okay? And again, I put these tube clips in just for added protection, just in case they get bounced around, because there is a metal cover that goes on top of this. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope everybody has a great Friday night, and I will probably see you on Sunday. Take care, everybody. This is Ron.